Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another plan with me. So today I'm going to be planning out the month of September and we are going to be using the Alchemist collection, which was our September collection, and it's such a fun one. It's so colourful, it's very mysterious, there's so much to this. I'm going to be talking a bit more about the collection as we go through, and as always I'm going to be planning in our weekly week on 2 pages goal planner, which has space for you to set your goals. So at the moment I am doing the monthly overview page, where you can set your goals for the month, decide the actions you're going to take, and plan out the habits as well that you are going to work on. So yeah, if you are new to these videos, I do a little bit of a voiceover while I plan out the whole of the month, just using all of the stickers from the collection. So I'm so pleased with how all of this sort of turned out and came together. There's lots going on in this collection, lots to talk about, and it was definitely a bit of a challenge actually for me to get this one together from a design perspective. So I started out in a very different place with a very sort of different idea of how this was all going to come together. I wanted to create something which felt very ethereal and very sort of mystical, and was themed around this idea of the alchemist, and it was going to have like the potion bottles and the different things that you see kind of going on in this collection. And where I kind of ran into a bit of a challenge was on the colours. So quite often I have a really clear idea in my mind of what I want to create, and then I sit down and I'll do some illustrations, and really pleased with how those ones turn out. I'll put some colours together and get all excited, and then I get to the point where I'm printing it and it looks absolutely terrible. And the colours just look like totally uninspiring or flat, or there's just something off, and then usually that's the point where I have a bit of a meltdown and throw my toys out the pram, which is absolutely what happened with September, because I started, like I said, in a very different place. Some of the illustrations did survive, but I think this was colour combination number 3. I think by the time I got to this point, I started out with some sort of dark blues and golds, which didn't come together very well. I added in then some peach colours, and which kind of opened the door to the purples and the golds, and eventually this is where we landed. But I am really pleased with where we got to. I think this is a really beautiful collection. It has so much going on in it, and there are so many different things you can do creatively. I have also just recorded, and I'll be posting up a video that is a bit different for me. I did 13 journal spreads. I actually did what I normally do in my journal, actually bring you behind the scenes of what I usually do, and challenge myself to create as many as I could with all of the collection. So probably enough to, certainly enough to keep going for a month. But yeah, using a lot of the leftovers as well from this video, so watch out for that coming soon as well. So getting into the weekly spreads, you'll see I have a few things that I usually do in these plan with me's. I always like to try and sort of do things which are a little bit different, and try a few new things out as well, to give you guys some ideas for hopefully how you can lay out your planners and get creative as well, because I know it can be a little bit overwhelming when you first start out and you're a bit like, oh, I have all these stickers and I just don't know where to start. So that's always the aim for me with these videos. Hopefully it gives you a bit of inspiration as well. I am a fan of putting things down the side, sort of close to that, sort of like the centre spine of the book. You'll see me do that quite a lot. And also covering up those days of the week down the side and adding in something different as well. I have also just started, the past couple of months, we've introduced these kind of watercolour swatches stickers, which I'm such a big fan of. I think they're so fun for like layering up. As I've done there, I've used a couple of them on that spread, and I do use a lot of them in my journal as well, just to add that little bit of colour on the page without having to actually grab some watercolours or do some painting. One thing as well that you will see me use quite a lot in this spread, and I feel like this is going to become like a real staple, is the little sparkles stickers. They're kind of like little groups of stars. I'll link everything below anyway, but they just look so good in so many different spreads and so many different places. I use loads of them in the journal with me, and I feel like they're just going to become a bit of a staple of any kind of plan with me in the future, because they're just so you can just use them in so many different places. Interesting story about those, I actually designed them I think like a year and a half ago for something completely different for our 12 days of Christmas, our first ever 12 days of Christmas that we did back in 2022, and we just didn't end up making them. And while I was in the middle of doing this, and I was sort of thinking about some of the extra fold stickers we could do, and I just completely out of the blue, haven't thought about them since we made them and sort of archived them, I thought, oh, didn't I make those like sparkle stickers? And I went back and I revisited them, and I was like, oh, they will be absolutely perfect for this. Anyway, so sometimes you make something a long time ago and it kind of comes back to you in the future, which is kind of why I mentioned earlier that I'd done so many illustrations for this collection that we've just not used. I do feel really annoyed when I've spent quite a long time making something which looks great but then doesn't really fit with what we end up doing. But in the back of my mind, I know that at some point that might become useful. I hope anyway. So on to our next spread. This is again a classic thing that I like to do with the flags down the side overlaid with the numbers. This is definitely one of my absolute favourites that I create in this plan with me. I love how the purple and the cream looks together. It's a bit of an unexpected discovery when I started putting these together, was just how lovely just those two colours look together in this. And it's a really helpful tip as well if you're creating a journal spread or a planner spread like this, and you've got any collection which has quite a few different colours and you want to create something which maybe looks a little bit different, it's just pick out two of them and just focus on using all of the elements that you've got. You can do this with any collection, whether it's one of mine or someone else's. Just pick out two colours and create something with those, and just pick out any of those elements or stickers which feature those, and you'll create something which looks a little bit different. And it's quite a good starting point to go from as well if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed about where to start. So I wanted to talk a bit in this video just about the overall theme of this collection, the idea of expansion, where the idea for The Alchemist came from. So we're into our new sort of, I suppose, set of or cycle of 3 months now. I've started to do a bit of an overarching theme which brings all of the different collections together. Each month, if you are new to this first video, if you watched, each month we have like a theme and explore an idea in that theme around personal growth, some sort of aspect of personal growth or development. And this 3 months is really going to be, or this next 3 months is going to be all about this idea of expansion and expanding in different areas of your life. So the last 3 months we were exploring the idea of balance. This is going to be about expansion. So this is the first in our expansion series, and the idea of The Alchemist kind of came to me as this moment, or this kind of idea to start thinking bigger. Start taking something that you have already, because alchemy is about taking what you have now and turning it into something else. So how can we make our dreams a little bit bigger? How can we start to in ourselves feel confident enough to take up a little bit more space, or compress that timeline? So rather than thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to do this in a year, could you do it in 6 months? So how can we think a little bit differently? So just a tiny bit differently, could be like 2% differently, to create that expansion, that everyday expansion in our lives. So that's one of the things that I would like to sort of encourage you to think about when you are planning out your September, when you're doing your journaling this month, is how can I push that a little bit further? How can I take where I'm at now and almost show a little bit more gratitude for where I'm at now? Or how can I make this happen for myself a little bit faster, or just go a little bit further, or take up a little bit more space. And we just think about those small ways that you can create that everyday expansion. And there's lots in here to encourage you to do that and to help you along the way, including our really fun little potion bottles, which, you know, come with, I wanted to create those almost like this idea of you could just add one of those little bottles to your day, and you know, the alchemist is giving you that little bit of joy, a little bit of love, a little bit of courage to help you along your daily journey. One of the things or areas of expansion that I'm really thinking about myself this month is challenging some of the preconceptions I have around time, and particularly like how long something is going to take to achieve. Because I think a lot of us have very set preconceptions of how long something is going to take us, and often we set those because based on our previous experiences, or because we want to be realistic, right? We don't want to set ourselves up for failure. We know that things aren't going to happen necessarily overnight, but I also think sometimes we definitely limit ourselves in thinking it's going to take a lot longer than it actually could do. And I want to tell you a story about one of my friends who, you know, this sort of really inspired me to really think about my own preconceptions of time and how long something would take. So my friend Rachel wanted to really get into running, and she'd been running for a while, and one of her goals was to at some point run a marathon. But this was for her a bit of a pipe dream, but something that's going to take quite a while, right? And so she thought, you know what, I'm just going to start putting in the ballot for the London Marathon. And anyone who's, I think, put in the ballot for London Marathon will know that it's very, very difficult to get in, and a lot of people put in for years and years and don't get selected. And she put in for the London Marathon on a bit of a whim, not really ready or prepared to do it next April, and she got in. She did it. And this is all going to happen for her so much faster than she'd originally intended, because she went into it with this preconception of, it's going to take me quite a few years to even get the opportunity to do this, and it happened for her straight away. And it really made me think of all of those things that, you know, we sort of say to ourselves, oh well, you know, I really want to do this, but it's going to take a really long time, or like, I really want to do this, but I know it's going to take me like a number of attempts to do it. And walking into something with, I guess there's a couple of things, isn't there? Like, walking into it just with the fun of, you know, I'm just going to put in for it and see what happens, but also going in with this sort of preconception of like, oh well, you know, it's not going to happen. And I think it's just like a lot of things that we can learn from this sort of story of, you know, like, just because you think something's going to take a long time or a number of attempts doesn't mean it actually will. So just be open to the idea that it could happen a lot sooner than you think. And yes, there are some things which just take a long time. Like, I'm trying to grow my hair at the moment, and I know it's going to take like a really long time. I don't know if that's a very good example or not, but when I think about my business and I think about all the goals I have in that and growing the channel and all of that, like, it could just happen a lot quicker than I'm kind of almost blocking myself in believing that it's going to be like a really slow process at the moment. So it's just something to think about, something to challenge yourself on. So just watch your thoughts over the next couple of months. Watch the things that you're saying to yourself around what's possible for you and what you could achieve and how long it's going to take you, and take a moment to question it, to think, could it happen faster, a day faster, a week faster? You know, could I go a 2% bigger on these dreams and these goals? So something for you to just think about this month. So thank you so much for sticking with me through this video. If you have made it this far, this is another one of my favourite spreads this month. I've gotten really into using the journaling kit to cover up those side days of the week that are already in there, and popping in the other ones that come with the journaling kit downside, just to create something a little bit different. I think this is such a fun way to be creative in quite a simple way as well. And again, just using that purple and more of the gold colours in there as well. So this is our final spread of the month. Thank you so much again for watching along. Look out for the journal with me. 13 journal spreads I managed to put together in one video. So hopefully that will give you lots of inspiration to use any leftover stickers that you've got from this collection, or just some other ideas for how to create some like really fun, simple journal spreads. Really all really easy to create. There are a couple of ones that didn't turn out so good in there. I've also kept those in so you can learn from my mistakes. So thank you so much again for watching. As always, let me know in the comments below what you would like to see more of on this channel, and I will definitely try to create those for you. So thank you so much, and I'll see you all again very soon.